a podcast by respiratory leaders for respiratory leaders. This is RT Sidebar. Stay tuned.
Very, very mellow, JJ. Very mellow. Welcome to RT Sidebar. I cannot wait to be with you. I have all of my friends. We're going to talk about season three. Season three, we are like making the greatest recipe of RT Sidebar that has ever been imagined. It is going to be so much fun. So this is our kickoff to season three. I want to introduce my wonderful friends. First off, as always, my wonderful producers, Anna Hayes, Angela Polikronis. Do such a great job. We love them. But we also have our two new hosts. This is the first time we have them in a traditional format. Let's start with Mindy, the APRT Conklin. Mindy, welcome to RT Sidebar 2025. Hi. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am lovely as always. And as always, we have JJ with his fancy shirt. We were talking about humanity yesterday. JJ the RT is here, our second guest host. JJ, how's Texas? I heard it's cold.
What up, you guys? Yes, it is cold. It's about 40 degrees here where I'm at, which is absolutely nothing compared to the Northeast where you guys are. But it's like a heat wave for you guys, but that is frigid for us in South Texas.
And Mindy, you got a ton of snow in the Baltimore area.
We did 8 to 12 inches, depending on where you were at. But it was like 8 degrees this morning when I woke up to let the dog out, and I was like, "Whoo!" It felt like I was back in Ohio.
So our very northwest or northeast people, Anna and Angela, what's it like? You're the coldest. It sounds like you guys might be the warmest. Anna? Angela?
Yeah, we have I think it's a warm 19 degrees today, so.
Fantastic. How's the NYC, Anna?
It feels like 8 and it's super windy. And the current problem, I got an email from my building that we have radiators that heat the building. You don't pay for heat in New York. And our boiler's working on double time. And if you usually I'm sweating in my apartment because it's too hot. So I turned all the things down, like all the whatever. And now that I turned it on, I don't know if you've ever done this before. They emailed us and said, you have to turn them all loose, all the valves. It smells like rotten eggs. It's sulfur.
Oh, no.
And so not only, and I'm having an ethical dilemma of do I let the sulfur come out? And I have nowhere to escape to. Where do I go to escape it? Or do I let my building freeze? I just don't tell anyone that this is happening.
So you could be stinky and warm or cold and not stinky.
Yeah.
Got it. That sounds awesome, Anna. Whee!
Stay tuned to find out more.
Stay tuned. So, this is our season 3 kickoff, 2025. I hope you guys had a great holiday. But every time around the holidays, I always think about the last year. 2024 was huge for RT Sidebar, was huge for all of us. And I just keep looking back, being so thankful about 2024. And I want to talk to you guys about what your best stories were. So, Mindy, let's start off with you. Tell us a story. Tell us a great episode, whatever it is that you want to tell us about what made you excited about 2024.
I was excited just to be invited to talk about the APRT in 2024, but then being invited to be a co-host in my first very exciting episode was with Dakota at AARC Congress.
So awesome.
She's a fantastic person, and she was vulnerable and, requested that GoFundMe to get her to Congress. And to me, that's brave. And she's going to be an amazing RT. The more she grows, I'm excited to watch her. So that's my favorite part of 2024.
That's awesome. And I'll tell you what, she's a great marketer. I've been following her on socials, and she marketed her RT Sidebar episode, but she's talking about what she's doing next. I mean, she really is taking off. JJ, you were part of that Dakota episode. What did you what jumped out at you about that episode?
I think the biggest thing was I'm not crying, you're crying part of it. Everybody was in their feels with that whole story, and it was absolutely amazing. Just the full circle story of me meeting Mindy online virtually in 2020, and then meeting Dakota online that same time frame, and then coming together, meeting in person at Congress was absolutely amazing.
What I loved about it is there was so much love in the room at AARC. And while you guys are talking, because you were so focused, the crowd started getting bigger and bigger around you. That was really awesome. Angela and I were sitting there at AARC. We're just sitting back going, but we were so impressed. You did such a great job. Anna, what was one of your great things about 2024? Like, what jumps out at you?
So I actually have a tip on this. I wrote down every month in my journal and then
Oh.
actually on a whiteboard. And then I went in my camera roll and looked at things I took photos of, and I like really reflected on 2024, like oh wow, like I did this, or I traveled here, or I had this
Yeah.
weekend, and all those things that kind of like slip through the cracks that you're like, wow. And then I did start, stop, continue for like my own life of like with sticky notes. It was just a really cool exercise to then look back and be like, wow, I did all that in 2024 and thinking about it. And one of the proudest things I did was actually with JJ and Matt at TSRC, leading the storytelling workshop and then connecting with Jessica Overgoner afterwards. But
Mhm.
it's July. Matt and I, we head down to Texas and we're running like an all-day storytelling workshop with, I don't know, do you guys remember how many folks were there?
There were 35-ish,
35.
maybe
That's what I was
40.
thinking too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For me personally, it's like that was like crazy. Like I couldn't believe that anybody wanted to listen to what I had to say. And then not only did they listen, but I was so terrified that no one would participate. But people participated, and we had like some of the most powerful stories come out of that workshop. Like I just felt so energized, like on my flight back home. That was like a huge moment.
You did such a great job with that, though. I remember you talking about problem solving with marketing and what story are you trying to tell. And you talked
Mhm.
to us about the Chipotle with the napkins issue, right? And then their team came up with a napkin dispenser for their car. And so they started to sell that. So if you're stealing Chipotle, napkins, you have a place to put it now if you buy their car dispenser. So I love the outside the box thinking. I love how you incorporated that into the workshop that we did, and it was great.
Thanks. Well, thanks for trusting me to come down, and it was fun for Matt and I to do stuff like that in person. Like, yeah,
It would.
I'd love to do that more.
Do you remember Joe's sweater? Do
Yeah,
you remember the colors?
yeah, yeah. So, this one gentleman who throughout the workshop kind of had his arms crossed, like just, nodding, paying attention, but like not like actively like speaking. And then he gives his story, and it's about a sweater that he was always like, what it was like, Mom, I always want a sweater.
Mhm.
Why don't you ever make me one? And then finally his mom made him a sweater, and he took that sweater and he gave it to his son.
Mhm.
And the love of the sweater and the topic for the storytelling was tell a story about an object, just a childhood object that means a
Mhm.
lot to you. And this man who wasn't totally not disengaged, just, I wasn't sure, like as you're trying to get the pulse of the room, he's crying. We were all crying. It
All crying.
was such a great story. And yeah, you see the sweater and the love they had for his mother to now his son pass through
Mhm.
this garment that his mother, like I can see her hands like working this, knitting this sweater. It was so cool.
You know what is interesting about that? So now I've kind of put all of this together. Every time we're with JJ, someone's crying because we had one of my favorite episodes was we had JJ's students on
Yeah, death and
talking
dying.
about death and dying. Oh my God. I ripped my heart out of my chest. But you know what? I felt that was so powerful. The stories that we got afterwards on social. Thank you so much for having this episode. But that was a tough one. I believe isn't that what RT Sidebar is about? Is about telling stories and being relatable. Tell me another story. Mindy, another story that you love, because I could think of one that you, myself, and Mandy had that was a good story.
Oh, when we were in New Jersey.
New Jersey. We're in New Jersey. It's
Jersey.
fine.
New Jersey was fine. Yeah, that was a great episode. When we talked about leadership, and we had Joe Brown as a snack.
Yeah, we did. As a
And Joe
snack.
Brown's always interesting, but to have all the M's that we had on throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey, I think it was Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. It was the M show.
It
We had a lot of
was.
M's, so memorable.
Absolutely. Angela, you're always behind the scenes. You get to see our horrible edits, all the mistakes that we made. Do you have a memorable episode from 2024?
Honestly, I don't know if I would say memorable, my memorable moment from 2024 for RT Sidebar was being at AARC. That was my first AARC that I attended.
Mhm.
And it was, I remember like, because I've never met Mindy or JJ in person. I've just talked to them via Teams or Zoom. And I remember like standing in the booth and like they were walking by and I felt like I was like when I was a kid, I was at Disney with my family and I remember looking up and being like, those are the people from High School Musical. And it was like there was a group of like Zac Efron and like Vanessa Hudgens like walking through Disney with their like bodyguards. And I felt like I was standing at the booth at AARC and I was like, oh my God, those are the hosts of RT Sidebar like walking by and I like knew who they were. And it was just like it was so funny and it was just like so great to connect with people in person. It's like something that I really miss from like remote work and how all of that, has changed the
Mhm.
dynamic of working relationships. So it was just really nice to like meet our guests, like all of our guests from 2024, like meeting them in person. Yeah, it was awesome.
Also on a professional like level for Angela, Angela would plan trade shows. Never had been to a trade show. And then like she's working that show and everybody at it, like including her like CEO, and came back so energized. Like I think that was just really cool, Angela, from my like corner
Mhm.
to just see you like thriving. And everybody was just like, Angela's amazing. Like this, like, yeah, just a really, really cool
Yeah, it
moment.
was like awesome highlight of the year and it was like a really nice way to like connect with people and just have like a really positive like almost closing of the year. I know it was in November, but like still it was a
Mhm.
good way to wrap up the season.
Angela,
I want
what about like the best blooper that you had to edit?
It's
Well,
gonna have me all over it. I already know.
yeah. So Matt is like, it's so funny because they're, sorry, Matt, I'm gonna pick up
It's all right.
the funniest thing about video editing, and maybe it's the funniest and like the most frustrating thing is that like when you hear something that you know you need to cut out, you have to listen to it like over and over and over again to make sure that you cut it out like perfectly. And so there would just be times where Matt got really excited and he would like jump in, but it was too soon. So I'd have to like listen to him go like, like, wait. And I would be like, and I'd have to listen to Matt say like, wait, 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 wait. And I would just be like, oh my God. Like, so then I'd have to get on a meeting with Matt 30 minutes later and I'm like, oh boy.
Hey.
Sorry.
Well, that's
It's just to put in a perspective of like what video editing contains and like hearing the same voice and the same word like over and over again.
like beatboxing. It's
Yeah.
Matt beatboxing. That's awesome. I love it. So many great ones. I could be. We have to talk about Mike Sheehan. Great ethics with Rob. Like everybody just did such a good job. We had Maria Madden. We had our friends from ARC, like so many good ones at ARC. I think I agree, Angela. I think ARC was a highlight, except one piece. Angela, there was one piece at ARC that wasn't that much fun. Do you remember how long we had to wait to get our box back up?
Yes. I was
Like
the last crate at the last minute on the last day.
Yes. We had a good
I
time.
could see it sitting over in the corner and they just wouldn't bring it to me.
It was crazy. The other crazy thing is a lot of people might not know this, but this is the first time JJ and Mindy actually met in person.
Yes.
And you guys are like best friends. Like I just found that to be so interesting that you guys had such a relationship without ever talking. So just like what Angela said, she's like, "Hey, I'm finally meeting these people." What was it like, JJ and Mindy? What was it like for you guys to meet each other for the first time?
Oh, it's so funny. I was walking in, I think, first day to do the opening ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
and I had got lost because there's a lot of walking there at Congress.
There
It took me
is.
to another part of the convention center that was like 2 miles out of the way, and I was in heels. I was in heels every single day. I paid for it later, but however, I was walking into open ceremony and I
Mm-hmm.
heard Mindy, and I turned around and you can't miss JJ. I mean, I
You
knew
can't.
from, and you know, it was just like finally kind of tears of joy, happiness that I got to
Oh.
meet somebody who I have so much respect for um, throughout our profession. So it was a nice moment to finally meet somebody who's been a very big supporter of me from day one when
Mm-hmm.
I entered grad school. So
JJ, what was it like when you saw her?
Yeah, it was one of those things where we had made plans for like 2 years to meet each other. Like
Okay.
I'm gonna see you at Congress. Oh, I'm gonna be at Congress. Oh, something came up. Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to make it this time. And there was like this roller coaster of emotion for 2 years.
mhm.
And then you go into and you're like, I see her. She's right there. She's right there. And it's like, Mindy, hey, like you don't want to like scream out like the weirdo at the convention center, but I mean, I can play that part and I'll be like, hey, Mindy, like you do the whisper scream,
Mm-hmm.
Mindy, hey. And it was just like this full embrace and just absolutely elated and full of joy just to come together with somebody that like you said, we've only had virtual conversations and we've had several of them. We started
Mm-hmm.
with an interview whenever she was in grad school. And it turned into collaboration with ultrasound. And then she started to help in my classroom and teach some of our students ultrasound virtually. So it was really fun to just finally come together, and that's what's so cool about social media and the
Mm-hmm.
internet really is you can collaborate and you've never met that person.
Mhm.
You've never met that person, and when you do get to meet them, it is such a pleasure to actually come together. And I know you know me, and
Mhm.
like, check this out.
It's what I get from being with you guys, being with Anna and Angela as well, is when we're all together, it feels like we've never been apart.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. Like we're going to different things at Congress. I'm like, "Hey, Mindy, what you doing?" And you're like, "I'm over here." It's so natural. And when Anna, when you, Angela, and I are in Exeter and we're doing stuff at corporate, I feel the same way. Like I just feel it just feels natural. It feels more natural than it does like a regular day. So you said a word, JJ, that really meant something to me, and that's joy. That's what RT Sidebar does for me. It brings me joy, and we had a lot of joy in 2024. I want to pivot to 2025. What are you looking forward to? We got lots of stuff, a lot of interesting stuff going on. We have a big international focus. We're going to learn a lot about respiratory physios from the UK. We have the head of the Egyptian Society for Respiratory Care coming on. So I think it's just neat because we all take care of COPD patients. Let's just be honest,
Yeah.
but we all do it in a different way. So I'm super excited about that. Just super excited about you guys being on. Anna, what do you hope to see? Like, if you had a crystal ball and we're having this a year from now, what are you hoping that we're celebrating in 2025? What is going to make a great 2025 for you?
Um, so I did the same exercise. I wrote out the months on a whiteboard and I took sticky notes and I wrote every goal for 2025. And then I grouped them like personal, professional, financial, spiritual, like all these things. And then when you actually look at the calendar and I added another color that was travel, I just like
Mm.
really think it's important to do this, right? Like, because you got to figure out where you are and where you want to be.
Hmm.
And to see it and visualize it. And I started putting out the sticky notes and being like, okay, like what's to come? And these like huge goals. Okay, I can't fit this. I can't make this happen. It's going to be pushed to 2026. My talk show will launch then. No, just kidding, but not really. Not really, universe. No, I'm working on a book. I am really, really excited. And I hope in a year that the draft one is done and that is the goal. Like, and I'm so scared to say that out loud, but it's been so much fun to write. And I started writing classes in the city at
Oh my
night,
God.
which is really freaking cool. And I think I really just believe in storytelling. And I think I'm ready for the next stage of what these stories will be for me. And there's one that I feel, there's two actually that I feel very called to write, and that is for a creative person to have purpose and to feel called and that fixation. It's a different drug that I can't, it doesn't matter if no one reads it. It's like I have to thereby create, and it's so awesome.
I love that. I think that's a great way for all of us to think. So let's keep thinking that way. Mindy, what do you want to see in your crystal ball? What is it that you want? But before I go there, Anna, thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's a book. Holy cow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
And if anybody can do it, it's you. I know you can. So, Mindy, let's do the same exercise. What's in your crystal ball for 2025?
A lot more traveling in 2025. So a
Okay.
lot more conferences I'm going to be attending. I'm excited to go to different states and talk to different RTs to get their perspective on their views on our
Mhm.
profession and what they want to see for the future of the profession, and spread the word, of course, about the APRT. I'm also excited to be a part of RT Sidebar. I want to
Oh.
do I want to do a topic. I have a real passion for tobacco treatment and cessation, which if you would have asked me that as an RT, I would have been like, you're crazy. Because, it's different being at bedside doing smoking cessation. But when you're in my role where I'm able to not only do the cessation, but I can treat and
Mhm.
get people to reach tobacco cessation, that's a huge win for our patients and for our profession and for me as a provider to be able to say, hey, I've helped these people along the way, and this is what I did. So I kind of want to share my expertise of what I've learned the last couple of years when it comes to treating people with not only tobacco smoking addiction, but also nicotine addiction and how we can treat it. So that it's a huge topic and it's very, very important, especially for our profession, because that's what we deal with is lung disease, and the leading cause of lung disease is smoking.
Yeah, still is.
Yep.
Still is. That's beautiful. I love it. I know you're going to be everywhere. We're going to see
Yeah.
Mindy everywhere. Post everywhere. Take pictures. The special, Mindy selfie pose that we
Yeah.
always love. So that is awesome. How about JJ? How about you? Like, what's in your crystal ball for 2025?
I just feel like the other two that have, shared already are so organized. And
Exactly right.
like this is what's crazy is, I have a calendar that I kind of write everything down on. And there's a lot of conferences on it. And, for me, not only is ultrasound a strong passion of mine, but also getting patients up and walking them in the ICU. That's another passion of mine. So just kind of being a innovative practitioner in the ICU and utilizing the full scope of what we have as respiratory therapists, I think trying to push that agenda and help, whether it's young, new respiratory therapists or students that are out there understand and appreciate that there are opportunities to kind of go beyond the quote unquote neb jockey.
I love that because that's part of my crystal ball. I got to be honest, JJ. Button turners, neb jockeys. I'm done. I'm done
Yeah.
because it's eroding our profession. So highlighting the value of respiratory therapists. You and I get to work with Terry Miller on the Workforce Recovery Task Force. Super excited about that, but really highlighting respiratory therapists in a positive way. Anna earlier today said you can't spell brighter without RT, which is just, oh, so nice. And I also look forward to not giving Angela more editing work to do. So that's something I have. Angela, any thoughts about what you're looking forward to in your crystal ball?
Yeah, last year I started a new thing where I gave myself kind of like similar to Anna, where I give myself a reading goal, a travel goal, a fitness goal, and a financial goal. And last year I hit all four. So I was really proud of myself for that. And this year I'm really excited. I just kind of next level in those goals. So I'm just excited to see where it goes. And I already have lots of travel plans set up, and
It's awesome.
I might be moving, so like fingers crossed that that all works out. So just like big steps in 2025.
Matt, we need to
Well,
take some pointers from the ladies.
I,
Like, you got two schlubs over here.
I've been working with Anna and Angela for a long time, and I know how frustrating they get with me when it comes to my lack of organization. You're like, really, Matt, just write it down, do something. And I appreciate them because they keep me so grounded. So Angela and Anna, thank you for always being there for me and keeping me grounded and somewhat organized. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to put that on our whiteboard. Be more organized like the ladies, for sure. 2025 RT Sidebar, it's really about a couple things that I want to make sure that our audience knows. Every other Thursday is Barfly Day. It's where we have happy hour. And that's when you should expect RT Sidebars to come out on Thursdays, and we're going to have a mix and mash of a whole bunch of stuff. So when we're thinking about Crystal Ball for 2025, every other Thursdays, Barfly Happy Hour, that's going to happen. Another thing that we've been working on is we're trying to do a RT Sidebar style CEU where we could go to different conferences and try that. JJ, this was something that you, Mindy, and I talked about. I think it's a really cool opportunity. JJ, want to give us a little bit more insight on this this idea?
Yeah, so I mean, you and I kind of did this a couple of years ago
We did.
and it wasn't officially with RT Sidebar, but what we did was there was a leadership talk that I wanted to do, and you were my moderator, and you assisted me in that conversation. And what we did is we set up a tripod. We set up a tripod and we went on Instagram Live, and we were able to broadcast that out to, however many people that attended that. And so we want to take that idea and add some structure to it so that we can get those CRCEs and expand the reach of what's beyond simply there at the conference. So I think it's a great idea. I think it's something that's going to shift kind of what's possible. And I love that we always like to kind of push the boundaries of what is possible.
It's what we do. Mindy, I can't wait to share the stage with you again sometime in 2025. I think, your media tour that you've been going on the last couple of years has been inspiring to so many people. You really elevating the value of RT. And I think, isn't that what the point of RT Sidebar is? It's to raise respiratory therapists. That's what I think it's about. I believe that we can do that. We're not going to live in our clouds and say, you need to come up here. No, we're going to go down with you and we're going to raise up together. So I'm super excited for that in 2025. Mindy, any final thoughts before we go into our interesting piece of what we're going to discuss? Because college football is coming around. Anna has something, though, I could tell.
Wait, I like that. Raise the community, but like you raise the bar, you raise the bar fly, raise the bar fly. I just have to say
good,
exactly what I think.
Anna is marketing all the time. All the time. She never stops, but I love that. Mindy, are you ready?
Ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football? So if you don't know and you're living under a rock, college football playoffs are tomorrow, and the two most important teams, or the most important team, is playing tomorrow against Notre Dame, and it is the We Are Penn State is playing. So I want to go through this really quick because we already know what Mindy's going to say because she's from the Ohio State with too many capitals and too many E's. When we're thinking about college football, Mindy, who are you picking? Penn State or Notre Dame? Ohio State or Texas?
Well, for Thursday night's game, I'm going to pick Penn State to beat Notre Dame. Because I want an epic matchup for the national championship to be the Ohio State University and our neighbors from Penn State. I think that would be an epic national championship game. But I picked the Buckeyes to take it all.
Okay. JJ, do you have something to say about that?
I mean, just the Big Ten matchup for the national championship. I mean, that hasn't been done since like LSU and Alabama.
That is true. You're talking about SEC. That's Texas. That's down. I know this is more your wife's area of expertise, not yours.
Yeah. So I grew up in Lubbock, and Texas Tech is in Lubbock. So I'm a bleed through Red Raider fan. Like when you cut me, I bleed red. I don't bleed orange like some of these other weirdos here in Texas. But my wife thinks that Texas is going to take it all the way. And just so that you have some statistics, Mindy, she had to, refresh my memory on this, but they've competed 3 times and Texas has been the victor two of the three times. So
it's our turn to take it over.
Oh,
I mean,
all right.
I'm not going to be cheering for Texas. I'll just tell you that. I might get shunned out of Texas, but it's just what you do. You never cheer for your rival.
Yep.
You just don't. Before the episode, we asked Anna and Angela who they're rooting for, and they just rooting for who? Just so we could all be different?
Everyone. No, just kidding. Notre Dame, Fighting Irish. Woo!
There you go.
Sports?
So, Angela, Notre Dame as well. All right.
From living under my rock, I will pick the first one that I saw.
There you go. So tomorrow night, obviously, I'm choosing Penn State, but I am with you. I will wear my Ohio State gear on Friday just for Mindy because I want to see Penn State crush Ohio State. That's what I want to see.
That would be an epic rematch.
Make it sweeter. What are you going to do?
Oh, hello, Joe Army coming out. Look at you and your little betting action.
I'm here for entertainment.
If Ohio State and Penn State play, we will have an episode that talks about what we will do for this. We'll make a little snack and we'll have a conversation about what that bet will look like because the college football championship game is on January 20th. So we have a little bit of space. But Mindy, are you ready to have a negotiation if that happens?
I will have a negotiation if that happens. Yes.
And Barflies can make recommendations of what the loser has to do. I suggest like a polar plunge. I think that's always a great one.
I will say I won't shave my hair just because I won't because I have a tour coming up this year. I can't do that. But
very fair.
I'm not shaving the hair.
I did not agree, Anna, on letting the Barflies choose what we're going to do because it's going to be horrible.
That would never
happen. I did this on the air when it's being recorded. So.
She definitely did that on purpose. So if stars align the way they should and Penn State and Ohio State meet, it's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. And there's going to have to be some wagering involved. So thank you. And Barflies, we will get something out to you immediately because Anna said it live. So this is what we got to do. Thanks, Anna. So we have another podcast coming up on the 23rd where we start our international focus. I just want to give a shout out to Ben and Phoebe. They're coming up to talk about what a respiratory physio is in the UK. Super excited about that. Anna, we have some webinars being planned. She's the webinar queen. She has some awesome ones. Anna, you want to give us a highlight on the next webinar?
vtherm.com/fearless. Fearless to register for our webinar. That's a free CEU. It's going to be on 27 February. And we're stoked about this because we're going to talk about treating severely hypercapnic patients in light of the HyperAct study. But really, what fears do clinicians face? What obstacles are are associated to really, I think, changing the standard of care for extremely severely hypercapnic patients. We don't often talk about fear. Like, I think we dance around it. And so I'm really excited to dive in. And two of the panelists are here with Maddie P and Mindy. So really excited about that. And then we have two MDs, Dr. Gonzalez and Dr. McQueen. So I think it's gonna, like, I am excited about this, like, just to really dive into fear, like, transparently.
I think it's also a great RT sidebar possible episode around that topic, because a lot of therapists are afraid to have a real conversation with a doctor. And now, Mindy, you're a provider. You have therapists coming to you. What do you look for? We're going to talk about the webinar, and I think that's a really important piece. JJ, I'm sure, your new grad focus, it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to talk to the doc, but I'm scared.
Yeah. Around the same time that Mindy and I met, respiratory coach and I, we would have, online where we would jump on Instagram Live and we would have conversations regularly. And one of the things that we talked about a lot was failure, and trying to normalize that, failure is not a negative thing. Fail is an acronym for first attempt in learning. So it's one of those things where you talk about it, you can embrace that fear of failure and normalize it so that it's not getting the negative connotation that it has. You guys know I love Maxwell. He has a book that's called Failing Forward, and it's a phenomenal book. So, it's one of those things where it just needs to be part of the conversation more often.
I agree. Awesome, guys. Well, I'm super excited for 2025. I think we're all pumped for 2025. But before we go to our shout outs, I have one last announcement. I want to thank all of you guys for being a part of RT Sidebar, the RT Sidebar Barfly family, RTs worldwide. I am so proud that I get to say this. RT Sidebar is now the #1 respiratory podcast in the world. And we did that in a little over 2 years. So
that's awesome.
It has a lot to do with hard work, because we have no idea how to do a podcast. If I remember this very, very vividly, Anna watched a YouTube video. We did a podcast the next day. Like, Anna, thank you for all that you have done and kind of pointed us in the right direction. Angela, for hearing me say the same word over and over and over again. Mindy and JJ for joining on. JB, for being a part of RT Sidebar, and all the support from RTs. Like, to be able to say that is just, it's huge. It's huge. So in 2025, we are going to light it up, kick it out of the park, or whatever synonym you had. I know it's so bad. JJ, I apologize.
Hit it out of the park.
Hit it out of the park. Kick something. I don't know. Just kick Ohio State's butt. That's okay. That's what we're going to do in 2025. As always, we finish our podcast with some shout outs. So I'm going to start with my friend, Mindy Conklin. You have a friend from the Ohio State that you'd like to shout out?
I do. I wanted to do a huge shout out to my best friend of all time, Susan Brown, who became a grandmother on Christmas Eve. So she's literally going to be the best grandma in the whole entire world. So my shout out is to Susan.
That is lovely. JJ, how about you? You have a big shout out.
Yeah, I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to take two. If
okay.
It's the first one of the year. I might as well just double down.
JJ.
One of my good friends, Anita Respondic, she just had a birthday on the 3rd. So happy birthday again to Anita. And then the other one is Kaylee Dayton, our good friend from Dayton ICU Consulting. She just won a national award for Best Nurse Innovation. So the work that she does with awake and walking ICUs, super congratulations to you. That is awesome.
That is phenomenal. Now we have some sister congratulations. Anna, kick us off.
Yeah, huge congratulations to Aaron and Jake Wilson on the birth of their first child on 31 December. Also on a Vapotherm account, which was nice to know when they had the birth a month early. So yeah, that was really, really exciting. And then big shout out to Maria Carrasquillo for her promotion to Director of Legal Operations.
Maria is fantastic. Angela, do you have a congrats?
Yeah, I would like to big shout out and congratulations to my little sister Nicole for graduating early with her bachelor's degree. Very excited to see what she does with her future.
That is awesome. I was gonna, I have a big shout out to my sister Samantha, who's having her second child, but I also want to have a shout out to our good friend Taylor Troy, who just had her first child. It was on New Year's Eve? Is that correct, Anna? Awesome. Taylor, congratulations. We love you. We can't wait to see more baby pics. Bring them on. We're super excited. If you have a shout out, please let us know. In the show notes of all of our podcasts is a link where you can give some shout outs and we will talk about them live on air. But the most important thing, as we finish up every podcast, we have a certain thing that we say, and that's stay tuned. Stay tuned for 2025. It's going to be awesome. So from all of us here at RT Sidebar, thank you so much for being a listener. Looking forward to 2025, and we are out. Vapotherm does not practice medicine or provide medical services or advice. Any clinical recommendations provided herein are solely those of the speaker. Practitioners should refer to the full indications for use and operating instructions of any product referenced before use. Hosts and producers are paid employees or consultants of Vapotherm, and guests are not compensated.